You've chosen the national park you want to visit, you've made the reservations, you've figured out what you want to do. But when it really comes down to it, do you know what to pack? That's a question I get a lot, and today I want to tell you what to pack for your next national park vacation. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes, and I have been on thousands of national park trips. You just can't keep me out. I love visiting the national parks, and I have packed for all of those parks. I am the designated packer in my family, and so I have a whole checklist that I'm going to give to you today. It's the one that I use when I am packing for my national park trips. Now, this is a general packing list. It is not park specific, but it works for almost every national park. So I'll show you, I'm going to walk you through what it is and what I like to bring and kind of help you with your packing as well. Just know there will be some adjustments you'll need to make depending on the park you're visiting, but overall, it's a really great list. Okay, so here's the Dirt in My Shoes National Parks packing list. You're going to go to dirtinmyshoes.com/pack. I'll put that link in the description below, but you'll go there to sign up for this and then you can have your own version. But today I want to walk you through kind of what's on here and why so that I can help you have a better experience when you're in the national parks to make sure that you brought what you need. If at any point you need a little bit extra help, you can go to dirtinmyshoes.com/gear or click on gear and gifts up here in the menu. You'll see what I'm actually hiking in right now and what I have in my backpack. You'll be able to sign up for that packing list. There's some other things on there too, so that's helpful as well. But let's jump into the packing list. Okay, so the first thing that I always think about is keeping my gear as small as possible. It's really convenient to do that for airplane travel, but also if you're going to a national park, you're probably going to be hiking around, you're probably going to be living out of your backpack a little bit more. And so to have some smaller items that you can just throw in your backpack and take hiking with you really makes your life a lot easier. So when you're looking at this packing list, I'm talking like a packable down jacket or a waterproof rain jacket that packs really small. All of these things can be purchased small. Other things like if you're over here, like a quick dry towel, those can be really small. A collapsible cooler, I have a link for that on Amazon, the one that I like to use that just, it gets really small. And so that makes it easier when you're trying to keep things with you as you're hiking to not have like just huge things. So another thing is if you're putting your toiletries into like the TSA approved bottles, that's going to keep the space smaller so that you can bring more stuff or so that you can carry stuff with you on the trail. The next thing you're going to want to be paying attention to is your clothing. You're going to want quick dry clothing almost as much as possible. That's not only safer when you're out hiking, keeps you from getting hypothermia. If you were to get rained on or if you're sweating a lot, you don't want those clothes to stay wet. You want them to quickly dry. So that's important. But also it makes it easier for layering. It makes it easier for packing in your backpack if you need more. Anyway, just makes it easier. So under the clothing section of this packing list, you'll see everything is quick dry. You want quick dry base layers. That's going to be the layer that is up against your underwear before you put on like a long sleeve shirt or another shirt. And those you're going to want to be either synthetic or wool so that they'll dry quickly. Quick dry shirts, quick dry pants and shorts, quick dry underwear. That one's really important because that's right up against your skin. You're going to want to be able to dry out quickly on even your very bottom layers. The other thing that's really important is merino wool hiking socks. Like get a really good quality hiking sock. Merino wool socks are quick dry as well. They won't hold on to odors, but the thing that is really important about getting a good pair of wool hiking socks is that it will keep you from getting blisters as well. And so that's definitely more of a purchase that's going to cost you more, but it will pay off a lot as you're hiking. So again, most of your clothing here are going to be quick dry. Your fleece sweater, that's going to go, that's a top layer, that's a warmth layer. And so that one doesn't need to be as much because you'll probably have a waterproof rain jacket or a down jacket on top of that one too. But these ones that are closer to your skin, you're definitely going to want to get those as quick dry fabrics. Now, you may have been looking at that list of clothing going, holy cow, like, why do I have to bring all that stuff? That's because when you're out hiking or when you're an outdoor adventurer, you're going to want to dress in layers as much as possible. So that's one of the best skills actually that you can learn as you're packing for your national park trips is how to bring layers instead of bringing just like a giant coat because it might be cold and you probably do want a layer of warmth like that. But instead of bringing one giant coat, getting into the habit of bringing maybe like 2 long sleeve shirts and then a jacket and then a fleece jacket and then a packable down jacket. So you have 5 items of clothing instead of 1, and it just makes it so it's so much more versatile while you're out exploring. You can take layers off, you can add layers if you need them, and it just makes it so instead of like taking up so much room in your suitcase for one big bulky item, you have several items that will get the job done, but that you can pick and choose from depending on what the weather looks like. My life changed when I figured this out, and so this is why there's so much clothing on this list, on this packing list, because what you're going to want to do, you're going to have your underwear, and then you're going to have your base layer. And if you're going somewhere really hot, you probably won't need to wear a base layer. But even if you're visiting somewhere in the mountains like Glacier National Park or Yellowstone, sometimes it gets a little bit cool, especially in the morning or evening hours. And so base layers, you might decide you want those. And then you put your shirt on top of those base layers and you put your pants on top of those base layers. So the base layers are going to be a top and a bottom. And so you'll put your regular hiking clothes on top of that. And then beyond that, if you need more warmth, that's when you're going to put on a fleece sweater. Fleece is really good for hiking. It's not necessarily quick dry, but it's thin and it gives you a lot of warmth. And so we all like to use fleece sweaters. And then you're going to have your outerwear. And this is why I say it's really nice to keep something small when you're packing, to try to get the smallest possible thing that you can. Because if you have a waterproof rain jacket that packs down, which I have and I'll link to, or a packable down jacket, which I also have that I love, and it's like the size of a soda can when it's packed down. But you can just throw one of those in your backpack with you. So you've got some good layers, you've got some good warmth, and then you also have the option to add more without taking too much space. So instead of wearing a giant coat while you're out hiking, deciding you're too hot, and then having to carry your giant coat around with you for the rest of the day, you have these layers that you can kind of take on and off and throw in your backpack real quick and just not take up a ton of space. So that's going to be what you're going to want to focus on. And that's why I say this packing list actually generally is good for most national parks, because you're going to want to layer despite what national park you're going to. If you're going somewhere really hot, then your layers are going to be a little bit less intense. But if you're going somewhere that gets cold at night but hot during the day, that's when like that layering system works really, really well. The next thing that you're going to want to make sure you pack are the 10 essentials. The 10 essentials are pieces of gear that you're going to want just in the outside space. That's what we all should be carrying in our backpacks, regardless of where we're going or what we're doing. If we're out in nature, if we are trying to go adventuring, then it's really wise to have these 10 essentials with you at all times. Okay, so your 10 essentials are mostly going to be found in this category here under gear. That's things like the first aid kit, headlamp, compass, emergency water filter, shelter, matches, multi-tool. All of that stuff is part of the 10 essentials that you'll just want to buy once and then just keep in your backpack so that you don't have to think about it again. I'll link this favorite hiking gear article in the video below so you can see there's stuff that I'm hiking in right now, but I also have my list of the 10 essentials and what I actually use. If you're wanting to stock up on these things, if you're wanting to build up your hiking backpack gear, then this is a really good place to start to see what I actually hike with as part of my 10 essentials. Okay, and my fifth tip for what to pack for your next national park vacation and using this packing list is that you don't need the most expensive gear. You absolutely do not. Hiking is a sport that you can get into without hardly anything, and that's what makes it nice and accessible for a lot of people. So don't feel like you're looking through this list and you're like, oh my gosh, like we got to buy these base layers. And then you go to REI and you find wool base layers on REI that are like $100 for a shirt. That is not necessary if you're just getting started. I don't even hike in those, and I've been hiking basically my whole life. That's not something that I feel like I want to put my money for. What I hike in, my base layers, I get them at Costco for $5 a shirt. So don't feel like you need to run off and just buy the most expensive things. So I'm over here on my Amazon storefront, which I will also link in the video description, and it's linked in the packing list as well. But as you can see, like I buy a lot of off brands on Amazon. These leggings are $19 and I wear them all the time. You can get tank tops and underwear and all sorts of stuff like this on Amazon for very cheap. So like I said, don't feel like you have to go out and buy the most expensive thing, but do invest in a few key pieces of gear that maybe are a little bit more, but will last you for a very long time. In my case, I will splurge for a really good pair of hiking shoes or boots. Those pay dividends because if my feet are not happy, I am not happy. And so I will spend the money to get a good pair of hiking boots. I do buy the extra insoles for hiking specifically that replace the stock insoles that come in those boots. That helps my feet a lot. I am willing to pay for the wool socks, which are typically around $25 a pair, but I don't get blisters when I hike in those, and I really enjoy just having my feet feel really good while I'm out hiking. The other place I'll splurge is with my backpack itself. I really want that to fit my body well. I want it to be able to carry the weight that I need it to. I want to not have my shoulders screaming at me by the end of my hike. And so that's somewhere that I will typically splurge as well. Otherwise, my friend, I am buying stuff at Costco. I am getting their cheaper stuff there, or I'm buying off brands on Amazon, and it has served me very well through all of my hiking adventures. So again, just please don't feel like you need to go out and buy a whole bunch of expensive gear. Don't forget to go to dirtmyshoes.com/pack to get your packing list. This is all free. It also links to my shopping list, some packing tips, and other things that you'll need to make your trip a success. I hope that you have an amazing time in the national parks and that you're all geared up so that you can be comfortable and happy out on the trail. We'll see you there.